All right, everyone, part 2 of our holiday podcast now with Chef Frank Terranova. We're talking about St. Joseph's Day and the quintessential food for that holiday, which is, Frank?
Zeppole.
So that's the first question I had for you, because I've heard it pronounced Zeppole, Zeppole, Zeppole. How do you say it properly?
Zeppole.
Okay. And if it's more than one, plural, how do you say it?
Zeppole.
So there's no S at the end. I love it. I knew it. So first of all, tell us about this pastry and the history behind it.
Mario, like a lot of things in Italian culture, food is on the forefront of everything. And it's like, and I'm going to go back a little bit because you heard of the Feast of the Seven Fishes. The stories go all over the place. No one even, you can't figure it out. The Zeppole is about as true as you're going to find in history. It's around 1450, 60 maybe. They were having a severe drought in Sicily, and all of the people prayed to Saint Joseph, who happened to be the patron saint there, that if he ended up ending the drought, they would pay homage to him and do a feast. So it did, and they ended up doing the Zeppole. Now the Zeppole is here, not even nowhere near what they serve in Italy.
Of course not.
A Zeppole is a small fried piece of pastry. They put either jelly on it, they'll put a little bit of that creme pasticcera on it. I was lucky that I had a chef from the Barolo Culinary School in Markrake, spent a week with me at Johnson & Wales, and he did the Zeppole is the Markrake, which come from behind the back of the boot or facing the Adriatic side. And what he did was, it was like a donut. It was a pâté choux that had yeast in it. And they roll it out and they cook it like a donut, and it would puff up just like a Zeppole, but then they would just put powdered sugar on it. They wouldn't put any cream on it, or they put jelly with it. So no matter where you go, if you looked in some books out, looked for authentic Zeppoles from Italy, you're not going to see these. All right, they came to the United States, and of course, the Italian culture, what they did was they made a shell. These are baked, same dough, or you can fry them. So now, going back in history in Rhode Island, I believe Shiloh Bakery, they did a lot of the fried ones. But they only did the fried ones, this is how tight they were with it, only on St. Joseph's Day, because they had to fill them with ricotta. Now, it was like, okay, it's their baseball, you play their rules. So, but it worked. Yeah. It worked out really, really nice for that. But that's generally the history significance of the Zeppole.
So I know, what's the traditional filling again for it?
It's an Italian pastry cream called creme pasticcera. Now, creme pasticcera and creme patisserie, which is the French, are identical. Here we go again. The Italians claim the French stole it from them. The French claims the Italians. Mario, we can go with this. We can go with this blog all day long, and that's what they feel, how they deal with it.
And I know it's evolved, because I know some, like you said, have the ricotta, and there are different fillings now you can put in it, I guess.
Yeah, you can put it now. I've seen them. They're going to have. I can guarantee some of these places will do it for St. Patrick's Day. You're going to have green filling, and a lot of them. And there's the bakeries doing a nice job. This is a very, very tricky mix to make, because the filling, if you don't chill it properly, it can raise havoc. Okay, it can make someone sick, because you gotta, at home, I did it this morning. It was a no-brainer. I put it in the freezer, and it drops the temperature down. When they make gallons and gallons of this stuff, they know what they're doing, because they got to be careful, because it can get pretty tricky.
Yeah, we did have an incident years ago where there was a illness connected to Zeppole at a local bakery, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was the shells that caused the havoc.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, and then the difference, what would you say is the difference between fried, baked? Is one better or the other?
I hate to say the old timers. Because I'm an old timer. I like them fried. They're softer. These are crispy when you bake them. Now, the trick to doing these, when you bake them, you turn the oven off and you leave them in the oven. A lot of bakers, I don't know if they still use it, but I've seen pastry operations use an ammonia. It's a powdered ammonia. Because when you take these out of the oven, there's moisture, and the inside gets soft. And when sometimes you buy the Zeppoles, you go to bite it, and the outside is very, very soggy. But some of them use that powder in the morning. What it does, it dries it because they don't have the time to make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. They probably got them all made right now. They make them and they freeze them, and all they do is they fill them.
Yeah. In terms of the holiday, before I dig into the ones you made me, any other particular foods or anything else associated with the holiday that you can think of?
No, generally it's just Zeppole, period. Then because now we're going to get ready to roll into Easter, and that's a whole other animal altogether. That's when they go crazy with the food. Although to do in Sicily, they do make the arancini, which are the fried rice balls.
I do love those.
Do you really?
Yeah.
But not anything you don't like.
There's very few things I don't
Right.
like. And so you put powdered sugar on top, and you can make them all different sizes too, right?
Correct. This is a small batch. These cherries are the Amarena cherries. They come from Italy. They come from Bologna, and now they're growing them. But before they used to be wild. They're very firm. They're very, very bitter. But when they process them, they soak them in a liquor syrup, and that's what makes them. So if you buy just the cherry, they're delicious. I don't care for maraschino cherries. The reason why they do maraschino cherries, for cost. Maraschino cherries are not that expensive,
Right.
compared to these.
Yeah. And you did this. The ones I'm about to have, they're the traditional filling.
This is traditional filling, yes.
And what is it again? What's in the?
I used milk, heavy cream, egg yolks, sugar, vanilla, pinch of salt, cornstarch.
And how do you get that cool shape that you're
The
in?
pastry bag that I had, I used a star tip. You can use a plain flute or you can use a star tip. Those I did star tip, and you pop them in the oven. These take about 30 minutes to bake. Then you shut the oven off and let them sit there for about another 30 minutes so they dry out. They'll come out of the oven, and if you feel the top of these, the top are pretty firm. But once you go to bite them, they become very tender. They're not going to be mushy. The cream is very soft. That's why it went flying everywhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Because I don't like that. A lot of the cream they do in some of these places, they use a powder, and you can it'll stay hot as a rock all day.
Yeah.
You can tell, but when you eat them.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna tell right now. They're so good. They are pretty crunchy, huh?
Yeah, the shells stay crunchy, Mario, because I left them in the oven for that time. But like I said, the recipe is on the website. And the thing is, with this recipe, if you follow the directions, they're easy. But to make the cream, it's easy, simple ingredients, but you have to process. You got to do it very slowly. You can't go crazy with this stuff because you can burn it. And if you burn that cream, then you're gonna have to start all over again.
Ooh. And it takes how long time? You said how long?
Well, to make the cream, it probably take about 25, 30 minutes because you gotta heat the milk and the cream. Then you gotta beat the egg yolks and the sugar and the cornstarch, and then you have to temper, and then put everything back into the pot over low heat and keep stirring and stirring so it comes up. Because if you leave it and go turn on YouTube or go answer the phone, it's gonna stick and burn, and you're going to have to use a jackhammer to get the pan clean.
Oh, geez. All right. Try a little more. Which is great.
Yeah, I'm glad you like them.
So, folks can enter their favorite local Italian bakery,
Yep.
get their Zeppole, and celebrate St. Joseph's Day.
Everybody will be out in force. Trust me. This Rhode Island, they're crazy.
All right. Definitely get some Zeppoles. They will make you go, mmm.